How's it going, ladies and gentlemen? My name is Ruffled Rowlet, and welcome back to a brand new video. Now today, guys, I thought we'd do a fun video where we go through some of the potentially cool Pokemon that would be really awesome to have in Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Now we have one confirmation, and that is that we have gotten it confirmed. We're going to be getting brand new Pokemon, at least one brand new Pokemon, in Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. Now, we don't know if this Pokemon is going to be a Gen 7 Pokemon or a Gen 8 Pokemon. Now, what I think it actually is going to be the bridging gap between the generations. A Pokemon that doesn't belong really in Kanto, but rather belongs to this new region in Generation 8, and is going to just be in, Kanto itself, and maybe even in Alola. Who knows? We'll see what happens there. But, it's a Pokemon that doesn't actually exist in Kanto normally, but it was brought there by people from this unknown region we're going to in Generation 8. So I thought it would be fun to do a video. We go through some really cool fakemon that could be possibly great to have as these brand new Pokemon, or rather as this one brand new Pokemon in the upcoming Pokemon Let's Go Pikachu and Let's Go Eevee. So let's get started with the first Pokemon on this list, guys, shall we? So the first design here is going to be by Stevo126 on DeviantArt, and he decided essentially a bunch of pet rocks. Now, if you guys remember the pet rock, which was a thing back in, 2013, 2012, which was this weird little pet rock thing that you could buy, which was literally just a rock, and people, a guy sold them, and people bought it. It was really dumb. But either way, this guy decided to take that concept and actually make a Pokemon out of it. So he made a Fakemon here, which has 3 stages. Now, the first stage is Pock, which is quite literally a pummel of rocks here, with a few rocks on top of its, body or head, or whatever you want to really call it. It does look adorable, though. I won't deny the actual cuteness of this thing. It has really adorable face, so in that regard, it does look cute as all hell. Now, its evolution, though, is called Kragrough, and this one is slightly stranger. Now, instead of having just simply one single tiny rock above it, it actually looks like the rock from previously, on its previous Evo, actually has increased now, and it's a giant boulder, almost the size, actually, maybe even the same size as the main body, which is really odd, and I'm not sure how that's holding, or actually, I have no clue how it's holding itself up. Now, instead of having a cute grin this time around, it actually changes itself and looks a bit more dubious and evil, so to say. It almost looks like it's going to chop off your face with that mouth, but it is what it is. So, in general, though, it does look adorable. I won't deny that, but it also looks very fierce. Now, the final stage, though, is going to be Domestite, which I guess is the mixing of the words domestic and Titanic, right? Domestite. So, it's basically a domestic Titan, I guess, and it looks pretty big, though. It looks like a dinosaur almost, but it's essentially a giant rock carrying another giant rock in its back, you know what I mean? And it kind of reminds me of one specific evolution line, and that is actually, no, 2 lines, and that is specifically Turtwig's evolution line, and also Bulbasaur's evolution line. Very similar kind of in the final stages, where they kind of gain this giant thing on their back when they reach their final evolution stages, which is really interesting. And actually, I do think it looks nice, though. It brings a cool Pokemon. I think I would love to have this in the upcoming game. I think it wouldn't be too bad. But then again, we know it's a no-1 Pokemon, so if we were to get it, I'd probably want it to be the maybe mid-stage, just being the mid-stage here, the Kragrough, but that on its own would be pretty nice as a brand new Fakemon, or brand new Pokemon, sorry. So yeah, guys, let me know your thoughts on it. Let's get to the next one, shall we? So coming up next is going to be a design made by Smiley Fakemon known as Poteau Fist. Now, Poteau Fist is a 4-legged Fakemon, and it's made by Smiley Fakemon, and this man is a legend. Now, if you don't know about Smiley Fakemon, it's in his name. He makes a bunch of Fakemon designs. He is fantastic, one of the most well-known people within the community for Fakemon designs. If you guys want to check out his DeviantArt and everybody else's DeviantArts, they'll be all linked down below as well, guys, so keep that in mind. Either way, so here is the design. This is Poteau Fist, which is a 4-legged Pokemon. The first thing that I thought about when I saw this was superior, or a snake Pokemon, or a Pokemon in a style of a snake. But instead of doing that a simple 2-leg thing, or no legs at all, it actually is almost like a snake, but it's got 4 legs, and that's the thing with it. I guess that's why it's, the 4-legged Pokemon, or the 4-legged Fakemon. Now, its typing is supposed to be Dark-type. Its ability is supposed to be Anomaly, which increases the power of non-stab moves by 0.5 and reduces the power of stab moves by 0.5, which, if you want to look more into that, you can do that. But either way, though, so Poteau Fist very closely resembles snakes, but they're evidently 4-footed. Scientists believe them to be either some kind of missing link between snake and lizards, or a result of string genetic errors. So that's kind of what I thought when I saw this as well. I was like, okay, so this looks like a snake initially when you see it. It looks like a snake, but it isn't, though. It's supposed to be some kind of mixture of the two, of a maybe, like they said here, lizard, or what Smiley Fakemon said, a lizard plus something else, so, snake, I guess, would be the closest resemblance here. Almost an eel as well, I could say, is what I feel from this. But the evolution for Poteau Fist here is actually really awesome, and that is Tesseris. Tesseris looks amazing. Now, there are 2 versions here. One black, one white one. They both look amazing. I prefer the black one because it just has, I don't know, it fits the dark typing way more. It looks really cool, and I just love the aesthetic of it. It looks really nice. But Tesserus here is actually another full-leg Pokemon. It doesn't actually gain any typings. It stays only as a dark type, and it keeps ability, anomaly. And Tesserus is described as shaped like serpents, but they keep their body in a coiled state. Only when they leap or climb do they uncoil. Female Tesserus are completely white, while the males are completely black. So that is described right there, that the female ones are completely white, the male ones are completely black, which is really cool. I would love to have both of these because they look badass in general. Kind of reminds me a bit of... Oh man, I don't know why, but they kind of the design itself reminds me of like Chinese dragons where they like coil up their bodies, which, or like they curl them up or whatever, and that looks pretty awesome. Generally though, I love this design. Huge fan of like what Smiley Fakemon or Smiley was going for here, and in general, I just love this. I think it's really nice. So guys, let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below, and let's go to the next one, shall we? So coming up next on this list is going to be another design by Stevo126. It actually is one of my favorite designs on the whole list, and I freaking love it. Now, this is known as the Fooling Fox. Now, the first stage here is called Tanuki. Now, Tanuki, I guess, is supposed to be kind of a play on the Japanese name for, like, tricky foxes and that sort of stuff. I guess that's what it's supposed to, be like, Kitsune and that sort of stuff, like, mixing in those words kind of together and that sort of stuff is what it's supposed to be, or, a Tanuki and etc. You get the point. It's supposed to be a little mixture of words and, like, just be a little trickery, but that's besides the point. The design here is adorable and freaking awesome. So, Tanuki here is essentially a blue fox. It's supposed to be a blue fox, but the tail is where the interesting stuff happens. And when it evolves, that's when it gets even better. But the tail is essentially another part of the, Pokemon. It's actually another entity on the Pokemon. It's got its own face and eyes, and it reacts in a sense as well. But if you look at the design in general, the fox itself has got closed eyes, doesn't have eyes open, and a smiling face, while the tail has opened eyes and a frown. Like, it's sad, which is really interesting. And I was like, when I saw this, this is very strange. I like this design concept which went about here. So, Tanuki is actually a dark normal type with the ability Subtail. And Tanuki fool others with their tail, which appears to be a separate Pokemon when hiding. They almost turn into a shadow, leaving only the tail visible. Legends say that if the tail eyes wink at you, misfortune will happen to you that day. Which very much sounds dangerous, in my honest opinion. That sounds very creepy, but that is Tanuki, and it's a dark normal type, which sounds good to me, honestly. I'm on board for that. But its evolution is where it gets slightly more interesting. Kitsunoti is its evolution, and this thing is amazing. Okay, so Kitsunuti is just incredible. So first things first, it gains 3 tails, which I kind of see like mostly with, Pokemon based on foxes. They always gain extra tails, but this is awesome, by the way. So one of the tails is this like, really sketchy looking, one that's just like, hey, what's up, dude? The other one is kind of a angry one, like, it's not happy about what's going on. It's just that angry tail. And the third one is timid and, kind of afraid almost, scared to really make a confrontation. And then the fox itself doesn't just have that same plain, kind of blue color, but it actually gains like, kind of, like that part of the body is actually, that's still blue. It's kind of like the upper fur, but the bottom fur is white and kind of like sticks out there as a little bit of black as well. So it's nice coloring and nice, just generally a nice design. And the tails just add that extra to it, being like these sketchy tails. And this one is also dark normal, and it's described as Kitsunuti's tails all have their own personalities, but are controlled by Kitsunuti. If Kitsunuti is caught in its trickery, this Pokemon will hide in the shadows, leaving the tail to take the blame. Interestingly enough, though, the tail will even argue who is in trouble, though usually the middle tail gets shoved under the bus. But reports have been cited that during nights of full moons, Kitsunuti's tail takes control of the body, though this has never been confirmed. So basically, the two ones, the one that's tricky, like really tricky and dangerous one, and the one that's angry and, kind of like, rude, they both throw the really timid and innocent one under the bus by saying it's the guilty one. That's really evil. I gotta say, that's really evil. But in general, this design is amazing. I really hope this is a Pokemon we see in the future. Of course, it is a Fakemon design, so, it's very unlikely, but if something like this is made, I would love it. It kind of reminds me a little bit of Girafarig and that sort of stuff, but in general, though, I love this design, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it. Now, next up is another design made by Stevo126, and this one is called Eris. Now, Eris reminds me a little bit of Ampharos, but if this was like, a bit more like a goat, I guess, is what I would like to say. But either way, so Eris is supposed to be a dragon fairy type, which is a very interesting typing, and I guess one of the most OP ones, I would say. Kind of like a really hard one to deal with, I would say. But in general, though, the design, again, like I said, it reminds me of Ampharos. It's almost like a slightly more male version of Ampharos, with kind of like, I guess it looks a bit more like a goat than like a male, sheep or whatever. But, beyond that, though, the design is really nice. It looks like a really old Pokemon that's kind of like, doing some weird stuff with pom-poms in a weird way. But besides that, though, it looks like it's supposed to be a Pokemon from kind of a celestial plane, so to say. But if you look at the description here, it says that it has the ability Forewarn and Telepathy. It is told that, also this is the description of it, it is told that Imagineris lives in the dream world, only to leave a nightmare in present. They collect dream clouds of others, which form their fluffy wool. Are the Imaginaries living the dreams of other Imaginaries? That's a really strange one. That's a good question. That's a good question, my dude. But yeah, this is actually really cool, though. So it basically collects dreams and, I guess, clouds of dreams, and then creates the fluff that is its wool, which is really strange. Then can you then, turn that wool into clothing, and will that clothing be magical because it came from the dream world? I don't know. Either way, it does look like a cool Pokemon. I think it would be really nice to see how this would work, and I actually think this is a cool Pokemon to have back in Gen 5, because then you had all that dream world stuff and all those really weird things. So I think that would have been really cool to have back then. But hey, it looks amazing. I think the name may need a little bit of twisting around, because Imagineris says a little bit on the nose, but other than that, though, I love the design, guys. Let me know your thoughts on it in the comment section down below, and let's go to the final one on this list, shall we now? And finally, the Pokemon that I wanted to talk about the most in this video is going to be Eris. Eris is a design, again, by Stevo, which, by the way, Stevo, my man, shout out to you. You're amazing, dude. Guys, make sure to check out his stuff. He makes some awesome designs, but this is my favorite Pokemon on this list. It's supposed to be a mountain spirit Pokemon. It's supposed to be rock and ghost type, which is a really cool combination, if I may say so myself. I mean, we've probably seen it, sometime in the past, but it's besides the point, though. This thing is so freaking cool. Now, the design itself, it explains itself when you look at it, right? It's supposed to be this, spirit Pokemon that you don't really see normally, but it appears sometimes. And it reminds me of a lot of, pseudo-legendaries, or a lot of, the trio Pokemon, you know what I mean? It kind of reminds me of, Entei, Suicune, and, Raikou. It reminds me of those Pokemon, kind of like that. And if you had, several of these, one for the mountain spirit and one for this and that, which I think he actually has made, which I will definitely feature for you guys in the future and show you guys. You can also check it out on your own, but it's amazing. So this is Eris, and Eris is referred to or feared as the spirit that protects Mount Rallis, attacking any human who tries to mine the precious stones, essentially, in the mountain. They say this Pokemon can leap from the base to the summit using its powerful legs. Along with Forest and Ravis, these three Pokemon protect the natural resources of Hoya. So a lot of these Pokemon that are made by Stevo and other people on here, they usually make them for their own little regions and stuff, and this one was made for that specifically. So there are three Pokemon together who, I guess, protect the natural resources of this giant region. I could imagine this Pokemon being one of its own. I could imagine it as a single Pokemon without having, it as some sort of, part of, some trio. But as a trio, I think that's what it works the best. And I would definitely want to show you guys the other ones that are created by Stevo, the other versions, or the other, legendary spirit Pokemon. But this thing looks amazing. The design itself looks very sleek. It, it kind of pops out really well. It's really weird to explain. I can't really, give you a simple explanation to it, but it looks really cool. It's kind of hard to explain. It's the same feeling when I got when I first saw, Suicune and stuff. It's just that kind of, the sleekness, the elegance, and the really epicness of the Pokemon that really just catches you off guard, and that's what it does with this one as well, case guys. But damn, I freaking love it. So I guess that's going to be it, guys. I hope you did enjoy the video, guys. If you did, then make sure to drop a like down below, guys, because I really just, I want to make more of these videos for you guys and just talk about more awesome Fakemon designs out there, guys. And, of course, if you want to submit me Fakemon, if you want to send Fakemon my way, guys, tweet them at me at Twitter. You can just, at me on Twitter and send me your Fakemon designs, and I'll check them out, and sometimes I may even feature them. So, yeah, guys, definitely do that. Send them on my Twitter account. It's at RigPop420. I've got a link down below in the description as usual. You can check out my, that thing, and you can also join my Discord if you want to as well, guys, and send your things that way. But yeah, thank you so much for watching, though. My name is Wolf Reality. Have a great day, and bye-bye, ladies and gentlemen.